Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in to today's third and final video. We're going to have a look at the weather for the next 10 to 14 days for today's final video, day 10. Going to take us to the first day of November. Can you believe that? We'll be able to extend out beyond that, the extended GFS and ECM ensembles. We're going to try in a couple of weeks and have a look at the CFS V2 for November at the end of the video. So very much November concerns, I suppose, at the moment. So I should get on that with you very shortly. Just say that the first video today was our 7 AM broadcast. We've also released GMA Friday as well, as always on a Friday month I'd look at. So make sure you check that out. It can be live streaming after 10 o'clock tonight. So I should see you live after 10 for a little bit of Friday night fun. Right, please like, share, subscribe on all other videos. Thank you so much, everybody. Hope you're having a lovely Friday. Let's turn off the webcam then. And we'll begin by having a look at the centering temperature. So CET is now standing at 12.6. That's come down from yesterday. 12.6, which is 1.5 degrees above average. That's pretty provisional to the 21st of October. That's going to carry on ticking down over the next couple of days, so we're probably going to the low 12s. May start to rise a little bit next week. It will get a bit milder. I think we're going to finish up somewhere like low 12s, upper 11s. I think it'll be around half a degree taken off again this month, so we are going to get a significant downwards correction. So if you assume that it's going to take half a degree off, then actually we're at 12.1, if you see what I mean. So in a couple of days we'll probably be in upper 11s. So yeah, we'll wait and see where that lands up. But at the moment, still above average, not as warm though in terms of the anomaly to average as September was. These are GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles. The next couple of weeks, the red line is the 30-year upper air temperature average. We're looking at London today. We're starting off below average at the moment. It's quite chilly out there today. We will see the upper air temperatures lifting up later on in the weekend and into the middle part of next week as well, getting quite warm. Through to month's end, we see generally above average. Then move through to the first week of November, though, it does look like we've got a cooling trend that's in evidence. I think we can see quite good evidence, you know, but we get a bit of a cool down coming along through the first week of November. Precipitation-wise, it's actually going to be relatively dry in the southeast over the next few days. I've got a little bit of rain coming through there around the 25th, 26th of October, but it's not really until we get into the first week of November now, but it looks particularly unsettled. So maybe the last week of October will be relatively dry in the southeast, but there will be more rain in the north and west, where we're more exposed to those weather systems coming in from off the Atlantic. Temperature anomalies on the 22nd to the 30th of October are above average. It's going to be a wetter than average, going to be a warmer than average week, I should say, to come. The precipitation anomaly from the 22nd to the 30th of October, wetter than average through western parts of Scotland and northwestern England. Otherwise, the bulk of England weather is actually looking rather drier than average. Latest wind from that from earthnullschool.net shows that we're building in a ridge of high pressure between areas of low pressure to our east and west. So we've got an area of low pressure over Scandinavia. We've also got another deep area of low pressure to the south of Greenland and an active weather front through there. But in between, we've got a ridge of high pressure building, and that should give a reasonably dry weekend for more southern and eastern areas anyway. That's how the latest UK Met is looking for midnight on Monday. So by that point, the ridge is starting to weaken, or is weakening, bringing a weather front across the country. Probably a relatively weak front in the southeast, so just a little bit of showery rain there. It is more unsettled into northwest. And then through to middle next week, heights rise to our south and east. That turns many southern and eastern areas dry under this ridge of high pressure out to the northwest. It will be more unsettled with spells of rain through Ireland and Western Scotland. Winds shift round to the south as we get through to the end of next week, so that does look very mild. But again, we're probably holding off a lot of the rain across more eastern areas. What rain there is particularly in the west and in the northwest. With the wind shifting into the south, it will be quite mild, if not actually potentially relatively warm. So it could be quite a warm end to October there. That's as far as we go to with UK Met. Let's have a look at the GFS midnight run. Again, we're rather flat and showery on Monday. into Tuesday and Wednesday. Heights rise to our south and east. That sort of fends off weather systems, keeps the wet weather, particularly towards more northern and western areas. And then for the second half of next week, a little bit different to what the UK Met was showing, in that we start bringing this low pressure in, which is a deeper area of low pressure. That brings some rain into more southern and eastern areas in the second half of next week. Heading into the closing days of October, the final day of October, which is Sunday the 31st, looking wet and windy then, with a deepening area of low pressure, a bit of an Atlantic storm, bringing heavy rain and potentially gale force winds. With it, could that be our first named windstorm if it comes off? It might be. Will be very mild if it comes off for a while anyway. Remember, low pressure by day 10, which is the 1st of November, transfers into the southern Norwegian Sea, and we start bringing colder air from the northwest. Notice how tight back the isobars are with that, though. So that could bring severe gales to many parts of the country, the first sort of bout of severe gales that we've had for a very long time. And then into the extended range, we find winds shifting into the north just beyond day 10, so it becomes colder through the first week of November. And yeah, we're going to be very, very unsettled with further southerly tracking areas of low pressure, bringing quite a lot of wet weather with it. Okay, let's move on to the 6Z then. So here we go. On Monday, we're looking rather showery and westerly. And then we go through into Tuesday and Wednesday. Heights rise to our south and east. That brings a lot of dry weather and mild weather to England and Wales. It will be wetter for Scotland and Northern Ireland, especially in western areas exposed to those westerly winds. Second half of next week, low pressure begins to break through. That will bring a band of rain across the country through the second half of next week. Probably even some wet weather into the south. And then into the final weekend of October, we go into this very mild or even quite warm push of southwest winds, but associated with a really deep area of low pressure in the Atlantic. That's a proper Atlantic storm. So gale force winds, heavy rain, and warm temperatures battering the country around the turn of the month. That's the first day of November, looking really quite wet and windy. And then into the extended range with the 6Z. Again, it's the same sort of idea, quite unsettled and a little bit colder in the first week of November, but finishing up under an area of high pressure. And it's probably quite a cold ridge, actually bringing risk of some overnight frost and fog. Moving on to the GEM. If you enjoyed the video, please smash the like button. Make sure you subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much, everybody, for doing that. And drop a comment, let us know what you think about this and all of our videos. Incredible and amazing. Thank you so much. Right, so the GEM, again, looks pretty flat and showery on Monday, with westerly winds into Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday, relatively dry in the southeast. As this ridge, it's a long way east, that ridge, centred over Ukraine, but it does, you know, exert its influence into the west of Europe. So but that ridge will keep the south and east mainly dry through the middle of next week, but northern and western areas will be rather wet and windy. And then we move on into the second half of next week and the final weekend of October, and low pressure starts moving in off the Atlantic Main, so turning more unsettled for month's end, and potentially a little bit stormy as well. These deep areas of low pressure, potentially bringing heavy rain and maybe even gale force winds. And then the ECM looks like that, so rather showery westerly winds on Monday, then through Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday. Heights rise to our southeast, keeps many southern southeast areas mostly dry, more unsettled though out to the northwest. And then through the end of week into the final weekend of October, low pressure then gets closer to us from off the Atlantic. So you finish up by day 10, Monday the 1st of November, looking very, very unsettled. Deep low pressure bringing gale force winds and bouts of heavy rain as well. This is the precipitation forecast based on that ECM run from meteo.com. So what rain there is, particularly in northern and western areas, not all that much in the south and in the southeast, until we get through to the end of next week, and then we see this band of heavy rain becoming stuck across northern England, Wales and southwest England, drier on either side of that band of rain. And then as progress on towards day 10, it does turn definitively wet and windy. So by the start of November, we're looking like we've got a bit of a deluge here, with lots of heavy rain coming in with it as well. These are the options on the table within the ECM ensembles today for day 10, which will get us to the 1st of November. So 11 members of the ECM ensembles, including the control and the operational run, have high pressure to our east and deep low pressure to the west, and so that's bringing increasingly wet and windy weather in off the Atlantic. Another 11 with deep low pressure over to west of the country, again unleashing the Atlantic a little bit with that. 10 with low pressure, a little bit more towards our west-southwest, high pressure to the east, drawing up winds from a southerly direction. That's looking quite mild. Wettest weather is in the west. Another 10 with a ridge out to our west and also to our southeast of low pressure up here. So it could be a little bit on the cooler side, but maybe a bit drier. And then 9 with low pressure, just more or less over top of the country. Most options looking quite unsettled day 10, but it's all about the strength of that ridge sitting away to our east. In 2 weeks' time, these are the options that we've got. It gets to the 6th of November. 13 members of the ECM ensembles have a ridge building through the country, so it should be drier and probably a bit colder with risk of some overnight frost. 13 with high pressure to our west and southwest, low pressure to our northeast, sending the wind or bringing in the wind on a northwesterly sort of trajectory. So that could be drier, but a little bit on the cooler side. 11 here, though, looking very, very unsettled with deep low pressure over top of the country. That will bring a deluge across many parts of the country. 9 with high pressure ridging through the country from west to east or east to west. That's going to be mainly dry. With that one, and then 5 with a mid-Atlantic ridge heading up towards Greenland, drive low pressure over Scandinavia, and winds will be in from a northerly direction with that. Could be colder and maybe showering in eastern areas. Last thing we'll look at is CFS V2. So this is the very, very latest, just updated around 2 minutes ago. This is the very, very latest 700 millibar height only for November from the CFS. So going for above average heights to our south and below average heights to the north, classic sort of zonal type setup with winds in from a west or southwesterly direction. Forecasting a very mild, if not quite warm, November with those red colours over country, and the precipitation anomaly is probably no better than average or has no signal. But I suspect in a very mild Atlantic-driven November, you probably expect it to be wetter than average, particularly in the north and the west. Right, we're done with today's video then. So if you enjoyed the video, please just smash the like button. Make sure you subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much, everybody, for doing that. Drop a comment. Let us know what you think about this and all of our videos. Don't forget to friends and family to subscribe as well. If you sub, you will be able to see future weather content, including future winter updates and Christmas updates and live streams, etc., etc., etc. So please give us a sub. We're going to put on around 50 subscribers now to get to 12.4k. So the subs are moving ever more, and hopefully we're able to get to 12,400 subscribers very soon. Right, okay, so that's it for today's videos. I've got live stream coming up after 10 o'clock tonight. I should tell you what's coming up tomorrow. So we're going to start off with our 7 AM broadcast. Then we'll have the ECM WF42 day look ahead. Takes us to the beginning of December, that one. We'll have a weekend forecast, of course, your weekend look ahead. So it's on Saturday and a 10 to 14 day. And then on Sunday, we'll have 7 AM broadcast. We will also have part 1 of the 8th Winter 2021-2022 update. Can you believe we're up to update number 8 now for the winter updates? Incredible. And they'll be live streaming at 6 PM on Sunday evening. And we'll show you some long range with that. Part 2 of the 8th winter update will be coming up on Monday, by the way. Right, that's it then. So I should see you later on for our live stream. But for this one, that's all for now. And thanks for watching.